Hope that you are well, and I also hope that you are having a good day so far. Today, we'll be doing the lesson on context clues. And before we start, we're going to log on to aplusstudents.ca. Once we've logged on to aplusstudents.ca with our username as well as our password, and then we're going to select the subject of English Language Arts, grade 8. And then we're going to scroll down up until we get to the chapter of context clues. All right. So we are doing context clues. Our chapter is context clues. Oh gosh, sorry. Oh gosh. This one didn't update. Our subject is English Language Arts, grade 8. I don't know why this disappeared. And the lessons that we are focusing on under our subject of under chapters of context clues is to use context to identify the meaning of words. And also to determine the meaning of the domain of domain-specific words with pictures. All right, so that is basically going to be our lessons for today. So once again, our chapter is context clues. Our subject is English Language Arts. Grade 8. And once again, the lessons that we are focusing on is to use context to determine the meaning of words and to determine the meaning of domain-specific words with pictures. All right. And we are going to be doing our lesson on aplusstudents.ca. And that is where we're going to be doing our tutorial lesson as well as our test. All right. So we're going to the first lesson, which is to use the context to identify the meaning of a word. Right? So when it comes to basically trying to find out the meaning of a specific word, because remember we're talking about context clues, right? It says, as you're reading, you can often figure out the meaning of an unknown word by just looking at the words and phrases that it surrounds. Sometimes meanings of words can also be words that looks similar or the different context that it is within. So as you're reading, you can often figure out meanings of an unknown word by looking at the words and phrases that surround it, right? Certain words that surrounds it tells us either what the word is about or what it is, right? Or the meaning of it. The familiar words and phrases that help you to determine the meaning of an unfamiliar words are called context clues. And if we look at the few examples of how context clues can be used to determine the meaning of the unknown words, and then an example is Martha attempted to placate the angry customer by offering him a free cup of coffee. So Martha attempted to placate the angry customer by offering him a free cup of coffee. And if we look at the word placate, right, and we look at the context in which it is written, right, by giving him a free cup of coffee, then usually it's trying to placate can either be to calm the person or to make the person feel better or to do some form of kind gesture, right? And that is mainly to calm the person because they're specifically saying that it was an angry customer. So they're saying Martha tried to placate, right? Placate the angry customer by offering him a free coffee, which means that she is trying to do something nice in order to make the customer feel better or to calm the customer, right? And yet it says from the sentence, you can guess that Martha's kind gesture was meant to calm the angry customer. And the context help you to understand that placate means to make someone less angry. So if you're trying to calm someone, it's the same as saying, I am trying to make the person less angry. Because you placate the customer, you placate that person. It is to make the person less angry. All right. The next one says avoid. Oh, big word. Delete deleteriosis. Avoid deleteriosis actions such as eating junk food and smoking. So deleteriosis, such as junk food as well as smoking, right? So they're saying avoid deleteriosis, and they're specifically mentioning words like food, like junk food and smoking, all right? So if we specifically look at what junk food and smoking entails, then usually junk food and smoking entails almost like harmful behaviors or things that will basically cause harm or that we would say is bad, right? So they're saying we need to avoid those type of foods. So the word deleteriosis, right, can then also means it says the sentence tells you that eating junk food and smoking are example of deleterious actions, and you know that eating junk food and smoking are both harmful behaviors, which help you to understand that deleteriosis means causing harm or damage. Listeriosis means causing harm or damage. So, which means that within the context of a specific sentence, we are then able to find out what the meaning of that word is. So, as much as these words seem big, right? Deleteriosis and placate, right? But those specific words within the sentence, that is why we call it the context, the clues within that sentence will then tell us what that specific meaning of that word means or what that specific word would mean. All right, the next one says Eric was extroverted, unlike his shy sister. So Eric was extroverted, unlike his shy sister. All right. So which means that if we look at the word extroverted compared to unlike, unlike is telling us it is not like his sister, right? So his sister is shy, and here we are saying that he's extroverted, right? It's like saying that he's not like his sister. It's like he's saying he's the opposite of his sister. And if you're shy, then it means that you're withdrawn, you're quiet, you don't want to talk, you don't want to interact. You're waiting on somebody to interact with you first, right? But being extroverted, if it's the opposite of being shy, then it means that this person is outspoken, this person is bold, right? This person is outgoing, a go getter, right? That is an extroverted person. Whereas his sister is the opposite of that, shy, withdrawn, would not talk, prefer to be indoors. Which means that this sentence of Eric was extroverted, unlike his shy sister, it tells us that Eric, unlike his sister, is unlike his shy sister, sorry. So you can guess that extroverted means the opposite of shy. So, which means that the context, right? This context, it helps us to understand that extroverted means outgoing, means you are bold, means you're outspoken, right? That is what extroverted means. All right. That is basically us trying to find the meaning or trying to use the context within a sentence to identify the meaning of a word. All right, so now we're going to look at the passage, right? We need to read the passage and then answer the question. So we're going to look at them, we're going to read the passage and then answer the question. All right, so the passage, it says, there are nearly 30,000 different species of wasps. Wasp comes in myriad colors. Yeah, we have the word myriad. It's a word that we don't know of. Let's just underline that word so long. Everything from the familiar yellow and black to metallic blue. Some solitary species, some are solitary species that live within the benefit of a colony or group. Others, each species has its own unique characteristics. Our newly discovered species, a reddish black wasp native to Thailand, is notable for the way it hunts cockroaches. First, it injects venom into a cockroach to incapacitate it. Then, the wasp drags the paralyzed cockroach back to its nest and lay eggs in its body. With time, larvae hatch from the eggs and consume the cockroach's body. This disturbing practice inspired the name Ampulex dementor, reflecting the wasp's similarity to the soul-sucking dementors in the Harry Potter book series. So now they want to know, if we look at that long passage, because it's a long passage, what is the meaning of myriad or myriad as used within the passage? So we only use myriad in the second sentence of the passage with two paragraphs, right? It says there are nearly 30,000 myriad species of wasps. Wasp comes in myriad colors, everything from familiar yellow, black, metallic blue, etc. Right? So now they say, what is the meaning of the word myriad as used in the passage? And before we even go to, let's say, the words that is given to us, right? If we look at the word myriad, right, it says it comes in myriad colors, and we can say it comes in many colors, right? Because here they are even giving us colors, and in the second paragraph, they're even mentioning another color. So far they're giving us yellow and black and metallic blue, right? And then in the second paragraph, they're talking about those soul sucking dementors, right? Which is reddish black. So it means that it comes in many colors. So if we look at the words it is given, they say, what does it mean? Does it mean bright, many, beautiful, or unusual? All right. So if we were to find out what the correct word is for myriad, right? And then we can say myriad is, because remember we looked at the context, right? And they gave us more and more details of, let's say, the different types of spiders or the wasps. And then we can say myriad means many, right? It means many because it means that there is a lot of those spiders, right? Because they're talking about literally nearly 30,000 different species of wasps, which gives us an indication that there's a lot of those wasps, right? All right, so here they say, as used in the passage, myriad then means many, as we mentioned. All right, now we're going on to the next one. All right, if we look at the passage, right, and then we're going to answer the question, it says Pablo Picasso is often considered one of the greatest and most influential artists of the 20th century. As a young child, Picasso displayed an exceptional talent for drawing and painting. His extraordinary skills allowed him to enter Barcelona's prestigious schools, right? Let's use that word, to prestigious School of Fine Arts when he was only 14 years old, several years younger than the typical student at this well regarded school. Although Picasso left Barcelona before graduating, the city still inspired him. His experiences there would lead him to break away from traditional ideas about art and create a new style that would change the world of art forever. Picasso's rise to prominence began in 1907. While living in Paris, he produced a painting that featured five Barcelonian women represented by sharply contrasting geometric shapes instead of a realistic presentation of the women. The painting presented an abstract scene showing the women form from multiple viewpoints at once. That the art world had never seen such a painting before, only added to Picasso's growing popularity. This painting, Les Demoiselles d'Avignon, I don't speak French, would serve as the inspiration for the artistic movement that came to be known as Cubism, right? So we now need to say what the meaning of the word prestigious is. Prestigious, right? So prestigious is long established. Does prestigious mean expensive? Does prestigious mean large? Or does it mean highly respected? Because they're saying that his extraordinary skills allowed him to enter Barcelona's prestigious School of Fine arts. Long established, expensive, large, or can we say it is a highly respected school? And if we were to choose the correct one, we can say that this was a highly respected school, right? A fine, expensive type of school. Usually, highly respected goes hand in hand with expensive because people with money go to certain institutions that are highly respected. All right. All right. So we're going to our test. So now we're going to the test where we're going to use context to identify the meaning of a word. We are going to use context to determine the meaning of a word. So at high latitudes, one might look into the night sky and see dazzling curtains of colorful light. This bright sight, known as an aurora, is the result of solar winds. Solar winds occur when the outer layers of the sun boil off due to the intense heat, emitting streams of magnetically discharged particles into the surrounding space. Some of these solar wind particles end up traveling in Earth's direction. If unimpeded, these particles would have deleterious effects on human health, increasing the risk of heart failure and other health problems. But Earth's magnetic poles, located near the geographic north and south poles, they create a magnetic field that protects the planet from the solar wind particles. Some of these particles, however, do manage to break free and end up colliding with oxygen and nitrogen in Earth's atmosphere. The collisions release energy, thus creating the aurora's stunning display. So we now need to say what is the meaning of emitting as used in the passage? Is it surrounding, giving off, destroying, or absorbing? So we need to say if it's surrounding or giving off. Emitting streams of magnetically charged particles into the surrounding space. Is it surrounding or is it giving off? We need to choose what emitting means. All right. So if we were to choose the what emitting means, right? Especially since they're saying it is emitting streams of magnetically charged particles into the surrounding space, then we can say it is giving off, right? And giving off is correct. That is emitting. And if we looked at the context thereof, right? Our context gave us clues as to what we think it might be. We need to read the passage now, right? Are we already by the new one? Oh, wow. Oh, it's basically the same one, right? It says at high latitudes, one might look into the night sky and see dazzling curtains of colorful light. This brilliant sight, known as an aurora, is the result of solar winds. Solar winds occur when the outer layers of the sun boil off due to the intense heat, emitting streams of magnetically discharged particles into the surrounding space. Some of these solar wind particles end up traveling in Earth's direction if unimpeded. These particles would have deleterious effects on human health, increasing the risk of heart failure and other health problems. But Earth's magnetic pole, located near the geographic North and South Pole, they create a magnetic field that protects the planet from the solar wind particles. Some of these particles, however, do manage to break free and end up colliding with oxygen and nitrogen in Earth's atmosphere. So now they say the collision release energy, thus creating the aurora's stunning display. So we need to say what is the meaning of deleterious as used in the passage? Is it unpredictable, unnoticeable? Is it harmful or contagious? It says if unimpeded, these particles would have deleterious effect on human health. All right, and if we look at the word deleterious, right, even in our previous, we say deleterious, it means harmful, right? It's like something that is bad for you, it's harmful. We need to read the passage, then answer the question. Construction on Florence's Grand Cathedral began in 1296. Over 100 years later, however, the structure remained unfinished with an enormous hole in the roof. So, construction in Florence's Grand Cathedral began in 1296. Over 100 years later, however, the structure remained unfinished with an enormous hole in the ground, in the roof, sorry. The designers had intended to top the cathedral with. All right, so they say, where are we now? The designers had intended to top the cathedral with the world's largest dome, but this plan was stymied by architectural limitations. The main factor stalling progress was the fact that no one knew how to create such a massive cupola without large, without cumbersome support systems. In 1418, tired of the gaping hole above the altar, Florentine priests solicited the general public for solutions to the dome problem. A number of leading architects submitted ideas, but the chosen design came from a goldsmith named Filippo Brunelleschi. He suggested building not only one but two domes bound together with rings of metallic. All right, so now we need to say what cupola as used in the text means. All right, so we need to look at the word, what the word cupola means, especially within the context, and then we must try to find what the meaning of that word is. Is it decorations, which is cupola? Is it dome, cathedral, or is the roof? Cupola. I'm trying to find the word again within the sentence. All right, so cupola, all right, if we look at the word cupola, all right, so if we were to look at the words that means cupola or the meaning of cupola as used within the passage, right? It says the main factor stalling progress was the fact that no one knew how to create such a massive cupola without large, cumbersome support systems. I think a cupola is a dome. I'm not sure if it's a dome or domes, right? Okay, what happened? Oh, it's just dome, not domes. No, but it's a dome, as per we mentioned. Because remember, if we look at that sentence, it says the main factor stalling progress was the fact that no one knew how to create such a massive cupola with large, cumbersome support systems. All right, so we said that our correct answer is just dome, not domes. So cupola with large. All right. If we look at that same sentence, right? Oh, let's got it. We're now going to look at the same sentence, and they want to know what is the meaning of solicited. Solicited. Is it paid, assembled, asked, or honored? It says, in 1418, tired of the gaping hole above the altar, Florentine priests solicited the general public for solutions to the dome's problem. Is it he paid the general? He assembled, he asked, we honored. All right, so if we look at the word solicited, right? And they're saying so the Florentine priest, he solicited the public or the general public for solutions to the dome problem. And if we were to look at these four options that is given to us, it is either paid, assembled, asked, or honored. So he asked the general public for solutions to the dome's problems. And asked is correct. All right, so that is the end of our lesson on context clues. Thank you very much for joining the class. And I really hope you're going to have a good evening, brother. Goodbye.